Can you give me a little typesetting?
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Taco Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. We'll get Grizz in here in a few minutes. He's in the back making up those tacos. I like the fish tacos myself, not bass. I mean, that wouldn't be right. That would be like, a baseball player eating his mitt, okay? I don't eat bass. I sport fish for bass, but he's back there making the tacos up. I like a little bit of... I like the ground beef in my taco, soft taco. I like those ones that they make with it, where you put a little bit of the sauce in there, the cheese sauce in there, and then you put the soft taco in the hard taco. You know that doesn't suck either. I'm not really a hard taco guy though, unless my daughter makes really good homemade tacos, real tacos. And those are good as well. But it is Taco Tuesday, and of course it'll be Taco Tuesday tonight down at the Furniture Factory, where Wes and Steve will be broadcasting the drive coming up a little bit later on. But tonight is the third iteration of the college football poll, and the top four should remain intact. I don't understand why they waste money flying these people to Dallas. It's ridiculous. I'm going to give you the top 10 within one team probably, and I'm just some schmuck sitting here in a studio in Huntsville, Alabama in the rain. Look, Tennessee's win was very impressive. But so was TCU's win over Texas. So the Horned Frogs are going to hold on to that four-hole behind Georgia at 1, then Ohio State, then Michigan. Give me my top 10 music over there.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Tuesday Top 10.
Shane and the Moneymakers. By the way, you know who hooked that up for me? Shane and the Moneymakers? That was the Phillip who hooked that up. He knows Shane and the Moneymakers. I mean, I assume they're still around. Anyway, so it's Georgia at 1, Ohio State, Michigan, and then TCU. I got Tennessee remaining in the 5, waiting to pounce on the open spot, which can be TCU's if they stumble down the stretch, or the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game in an eye test of 11-1 teams. Now, I thought that the Vols, I'll be totally honest with you, I thought they'd have to play better at Georgia to remain alive. But they're right there. They are right there, ready to be forgiven. After dropping 700 yards and 66 points on Mizzou. Now things get interesting at 6 after the Oregon loss. I mean, LSU was 7, so you'd think that they're the next one to move up. But they struggled with Arkansas while USC was blowing out Colorado. Now, Arkansas is better than Colorado, but still, Arkansas got beat by Liberty and then gave LSU a hell of a game. So I'm going to say that the Trojans may jump them. I'm going to go with USC at 6, while LSU remains 7. I think Bama is now 8, and Clemson is 9. And I guess by default, Utah is 10? I could make a case for UNC there, but I'm going to go Utah at 10. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can also text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469, which is a tremendous way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can find us on the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there as well. And you can watch it on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV. Follow on Twitch, like and subscribe on YouTube, and get notifications. Go to 977ESPN.com. It's never looked better than it does right now. And you can get links to all of that stuff. While you're at it, get our apps, both the Zone and the Blitz app, where you can find links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4, all our alternate streaming channels, and the Blitz for more great programming. After Madison Academy got dumped on Friday, only Randolph is left of our teams that we do play-by-play for. Sure, we'd love to do the Hartselle game. Everybody's like, hey, do the Hartselle game. Look, it's more than just you just don't show up and do a game. There's significant expenses involved in this stuff, all right? These things take some time. Would love to do a Hartselle game. We'll talk to them. We'll talk to them about being on our network next year if they're interested in doing that. Absolutely. In the meantime, Randolph gets Cherokee County in the third round this week. Austin Colletti and Drew DeArmond on that game. But with Bama and UAH basketball and the Havoc, you're going to want to have all of our channels. You want to have it all. And the playoff version of the Woody Anderson Ford North Alabama Scoreboard Show with Scott Tyson and special guest appearance by Coach Grizz will begin after the Randolph game on the air and on our primary stream. Alabama and Jacksonville State will be on Zone 2. Buckhorn and Grissom in a big game with the Bandyman and Captain Cool is on Zone 3. Havoc will be on Zone 4. You see what I'm talking about? Now, coming up in the first hour, Thom Luganville from ABC ESPN is in with his thoughts on the poll tonight and who's still alive out there. Thom has Bedlam this week. Pretty good game. It's always good because it's a rivalry game. When was the last time Oklahoma went into Bedlam 5-5? You got to be kidding me. 5-5. Ooh, I'm seeing stock market's doing pretty good today. It's good. Boss will be in a good mood. It's always good when the stock market's doing good. Even with Clemson behind Alabama, as I said, I think Clemson will be 9, Alabama is 8. Clemson has a shot at the playoff, while Bama does not. If Clemson were to go on to a 12-1 ACC championship, then they are in the mix for the playoff. And I do believe that they would get the spot before an 11-1 UT, Michigan, or Ohio State, provided that TCU runs the table, which is they still got work to do. USC is the other team to be considered. If they can navigate UCLA and Notre Dame and whoever they meet in the Pac-12 title game, they're going to have a common opponent with Clemson. A 12-1 USC is better than a 12-1 Clemson. So you got 3 potential conference champs. Those 11-1s could get leapfrogged. The surprise team of the week for me was TCU, with the losses by Oregon and UCLA devastating to those guys. Later on in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll head to the Plains with Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer with the latest on the developments on the Plains. Over there in that little glass booth with the slanted ceiling, playing the Players That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and manning our phones and keeping us on the air, it's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Grizz, that testosterone cut has got to be one of my favorite cuts of all time.
I mean, it was probably from one of the best, what was it, Hard Knocks ever, too.
Hard
the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, from the Hard Knocks. That's exactly right. How about Michael Harris Jr.?
Yeah.
Michael Harris II. Not the junior, the second. How about him winning the NL Rookie of the Year and Spencer Strider second in that thing, right? Strider. What did I say?
Ryder.
Oh, Spencer Strider.
Like the Ryder Cup. Strider
Spencer,
Cup.
Yeah. Spencer Ryder Cup. Spencer Strider second. I mean, first and second for the Braves in the Rookie of the Year really, bodes well for the future.
Oh, definitely. A fourth time overall this has ever happened with two teammates and finishing 1-2.
Ever or with the Braves?
I think it's ever in MLB. And
the Dodgers had to have done it once.
I think it was a couple of Mets. I heard it earlier. They talked about it on Talking Ball earlier this morning. It's super exciting. I mean, when you look at their roster, the Braves roster is set for, the next 6-7 years? I mean, they've got at least 15 guys that are under the age of, 26, 27 years old, and they're signed, till 2028 and 2029, and this is going to be a really fun team to watch. I think it's going to be Houston and Atlanta for a while, probably contending, every single year. I think it's going to be a nice little seat to see this.
Would you rather have Xander Bogaerts at short or Dansby Swanson?
Dansby. He's the local guy, but he has more home runs. I think he has less RBIs. I think that's where the power's there, but you want the hitting there because that's what they lacked without Freddie was extending innings. And if they could only hit like I've said before, if they could.
But are you afraid that this was a one-year thing with Dansby? Because Dansby has had some bad years too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whereas Xander Bogaerts may be safer. I don't know.
Do you go Trey Turner? I mean, do you ask a guy like that to come over? I mean, do you go
well,
for
I've seen Xander. Yeah, I mean, if you can get Trey Turner, I think that he's better than both of them. But I've seen their conversation about Xander Bogaerts, them being in the mix possibly for Xander. I agree, Dansby.
I've also seen where like if they're going to go for a Xander Bogaerts, if anything, could they get a Jacob deGrom? Could they get a Verlander to be a guy to kind of be that veteran guy? To be the. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he would be the ace if he came into that rotation, but I mean, shoot, if you had Justin Verlander as your fourth best guy. They got rid of Odorizzi, so they don't have Odorizzi. They got I forgot who it was from the Royals, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if Verlander would be a fourth guy, but I just would be careful paying a guy like that. You just don't know how much tread is left on that tire. Unless you were really fired up about getting Kate Upton to the stadium.
Hey, she's totally cool with backing her husband and letting him play as long as she wants, as long as he wants, and
she'll back him.
Hey, he's That's a JYB right there, man.
Yes, that's
what I mean.
He's got his own little JYB right there with the Kate Upton. All right, let me get to Philip in here. I'll tell you, he might have a comment or three about last night, but I want to hear what he's got to say. Philip, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm madder than I was yesterday, Tom.
You're even madder than you were yesterday.
Last night.
I watched the game last night.
And watch that stupid football, my stupid Redskins fan cousin, and. This is what I mean. First of all, this is what I mean about the Cowboys suck. You're wrong. They will not make the playoffs.
They're in.
Not only was it bad enough that they couldn't manage to win a basically important game against a pathetic team that had lost 4 or 5 in a row. We couldn't beat them.
That's the NFL, though, man. I mean, you see those kind of games.
We're in a race for the NFC East. The freaking Redskins managed to beat the Eagles, which the Cowboys couldn't do the first time they played them. So they could have got a game up on them. Yeah. They'd be one game behind the Eagles. Yeah. But what they do, they spit the freaking bit. How long will they continue to spit the bit?
See, I thought you were going to be. I thought you were going to be upset with the missed face mask call, and the fact that our part-time referees refereeing this $11 billion a year league is being refereed by school principals and custodians and insurance men and lawyers. Nothing against any of those guys, but I'm just wondering if that was the that was the deal there. I mean, that because that was horrible that they missed that call. We got to fix this stuff.
I'm with you, but that will not fix what the Cowboys have done to Cowboys fans for 25 years now. Yeah. It's just, and again, I'm going to get back on it. Why Why are they always the game of the week? They're on Thursday night. They're on Sunday night. They're on Monday night. Look at us. We're so great. And, we got all this talent. Oh, we're going to do it this year. Man, Dallas is loaded. They're going to be the bomb this year. They're going to blow everybody up.
America's team. The America's team. The America's team. They're still America's team. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of them. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You got how about that? How about the Giants at Dallas on Thanksgiving Day? We're looking forward to that game. And how about the Eagles at Dallas on Christmas Eve, man? I mean, that's it's good stuff.
It's potentially that's the way it's supposed to be, but Dallas will screw it up. Do I need to remind you what the Cowboys did when they closed the original Texas Stadium?
Oh God, the Vikings came in and beat them to a pulp.
Asses beat.
Was it the Vikings
or freaking Ravens?
By who?
Ravens.
Right, the Ravens beat them.
Jerry's World.
They got beat that night too.
To the Giants.
Yeah.
When is the last time this franchise has actually won a legitimate, big game?
When
it's been over 25 years.
Yeah, 25 years. Barry Switzer. All right, so you're gonna lose to the Vikings this week. Then you got the Giants on Thanksgiving Day. I like you're going to win that game. You got the Colts, you're going to win that game. You got the Texans, you're going to win that game. You got the Jags, you're going to win that game. Then you play the Eagles at home. When you get to that game, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to be 10-5, 10-4. You're going to be 10-4 when you play the Eagles at home. You're going to be locked into playoffs. Then you go and you play the Eagles at home. Got a good chance there. It's Christmas Eve, after all. 4:25 Eastern Time, Christmas Eve. Then you go to the Titans. Probably lose that game. It'll be all Titans. It'll be all that game's wait a minute. What kind of a day is that? That's an 8:50. That's a Saturday night game. December 29th. No, that's a Thursday night game. I think it's a Thursday night game. December 29th at the Titans. And it'll be all Cowboy fans, because Titan fan ain't showing up on a cold night. And then you finish with Washington. At Washington. I mean, you're going to have to
Which hasn't been announced yet when that game is going to be.
That's probably going to get flexed into prime time.
I really respect your opinion, but I don't think we're going to be where you say we're going to be.
11-6.
We'll manage to lose two of those what should be guaranteed wins, and we won't even get in the playoffs.
I got you 11-6. I got you 11-6.
We make it in as a wild card, and we squeak in there on Vaseline. We'll end up getting our asses beat the first round of the playoffs.
How about 11-6, and you're playing the Giants in the wild card game? Could happen. It'll be Cowboys and Giants.
We'll lose. Did you hear Fat Boy throw Dak under the bus? I thought that was actually kind of good. Maybe there's a little bit of infighting going on now.
Really? What did he say about that?
He claimed.
Yeah.
He claimed that Dak had a lot of run pass options.
Yeah.
And he just chose to pass. So he didn't want to take no heat for not running the ball and throwing as much as they did. Mm-hmm. He threw that on Dak.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you know that now Dak and Cooper Rush have played the same number of games, and that Cooper Rush has a 9-point higher quarterback rating than does Dak Prescott? And they both have played the same number of games. They both played 5 games. That's kind of
wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me one little bit.
That's true.
I'll tell you another little Dak fact. I'm old as dirt. My health ain't good. I can barely walk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quicker than Dak Prescott.
I don't know about that.
And I'm probably faster.
I'm going to take Dak in that race.
Yeah, it takes Dak forever to get going.
Mm-hmm.
Forever. That's what. And by the way, I screwed up yesterday, and I apologize. I hate it when I'm wrong. I know it's rare, but I was wrong. It was the third down play in overtime when CeeDee Lamb was molested from behind and the referees didn't see it.
Yeah.
Then it was the fourth down play. But anyway, just like the fourth down play.
Yeah.
Dak stands there and he's tippy-toeing. He's tippy-toeing around. He kind of, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to tippy-toe up here. Well, dude, you got somebody hanging on you because you're tippy-toeing. He ain't no fantastic, oh, my God, look what he can do with his feet. He's a freaking fat head coach is probably faster than he is.
By the way, if the playoffs started today, the Cowboys would be at Seattle in the first round.
Oh, that brings back great memories.
Oh, yeah. You get Tony Romo to come in there and get Romo in there to come in there and hold on the extra point. See how that works out. You'd be at Seattle. All right, Philip. Good job by you. I love the passion of that guy. Philip.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
It would be San Francisco at Minnesota, Dallas at Seattle, and the Giants at Tampa Bay. Even though the Giants are 7-2 and Tampa Bay is 5-5, because Tampa Bay would be winning the NFC South. That would be your first round of the NFC playoffs. Philadelphia would have the bye. Let's grab a break. Philip losing his mind. Let's come back with Tom Luganbill next, right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatewitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
Hey there, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. We're celebrating 40 legendary years here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And to kick this off, we're coming in hot with our all-new Alabama Hot Chicken. Fresh southern fried chicken breast smothered in a blend of tangy, immune-boosting herbs and spices with a spicy finish. Served up with a side of homemade smoked Gouda cheese grits, Miss Mary southern greens, and garlic bread. And there's plenty more where that came from. Stop in today and celebrate with us. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Qualys Corporation, headquartered here in Huntsville, is a woman-owned small business providing technical services in the areas of engineering analysis, testing, and support services to both commercial and government customers. For 29 years, Qualys employees have provided award-winning support to complex technical and engineering efforts, helping ensure critical programs, products, and systems are acquired, tested, and fully operational when fielded. Qualys Corporation, proud sponsor of the UAH Chargers. Go Chargers!
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And this segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, bringing us Tom Luganville for years now. At Woody Anderson Ford, the service department is second to none. They can get it done for you, no matter what kind of vehicle you have. They'll get it done at Woody Anderson Ford. And don't forget the gold-certified pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson Ford as well. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and learn more. And when you go down there, if you see Bobby White, tell him the big dog said hey, because he's just good people. You know what I mean? I mean, he's just good people. All right, speaking of good people, joining us now on a Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, Tom Luganville from ABC ESPN, and he joins us now. Tommy, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I am good, buddy. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm not going to tell everybody about why you were out yesterday, but I just want to know, did everything go okay? Did it all good? Did it go all right?
Everything went all right. It's okay to talk about it. I'm old. I'm at that age. It's the colonoscopy age.
Tom had his first colonoscopy at Cecil B. DeMille with the garden hose, taking a look inside him last night to see how he's doing. And everything good? Did they have to cauterize anything? Did they have to burn out anything? No polyps? Nothing?
Nothing. All clear, all good. Very fortunate that I don't have a history of that in my family. But I'll say this, man, and not to get off subject, but for those of us who are fortunate to have health insurance and you have opportunities to have an annual physical, man, especially with men, you know, they want to ignore things and they want to put things off. Don't do it, man. If you have the luxury of that, just go get checked out, man. Especially if you got responsibilities, you got a wife, you got kids, and I see too many men just pushing it off. And I've been asking about a colonoscopy like the last few years. My doctor's like, no, you have no history of it. You're not quite old enough yet. I do my physical every year in August before the season starts, and it was time to finally get one.
You were asking about one? I mean, you were like, hey, can I get a colonoscopy, please? I need to have my gosh, did you ask for a glass of wine and light a candle or something, too, or what? I mean,
well, I'm telling you, I want to make sure that if there's something that needs to be checked out, that I'm checking it out, and I've got responsibilities, and I want to be safe about it, but all was well yesterday. It's just like anybody who's had one. It's the prep, not the procedure.
Oh, the prep is terrible. Now, you're only 45, right?
I'm 48.
48. Yeah, you're in.
I was ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they tell you 10 years? Did they give you a 10-year
10
bill?
years.
10 years? Yeah, that's good. That's good when you get 10 years. Yeah, my guy wants to see me like 20 minutes after I have one. Now you get 62. They're like, "What time are you coming next week?" And I'm like, "Get out of here! I'm not coming back." But that's good stuff. I'm glad it all went well. It's good to have a colonoscopy the week before Bedlam. When was the last time Oklahoma came into Bedlam 5-5? I mean, that's got to be pre Big Game Bob, right? I mean, that's got to go way back.
Yeah, it's way back, and I mean Oklahoma's made a bowl for 23 straight seasons, and they've got Bedlam this week, ABC primetime, which we're excited about. Then the following week you got Texas Tech. I mean, this is a big deal right now. Last 5 Big 12 games, they've lost 5 Big 12 games for the first time since 1998. 1998.
Oh my God, that's pre-Big Bob. Big Bob got there. Big Game Bob got there in '99, right? I think it was.
That's John Blake, Snellenberger, that whole deal. And so, things not going quite the way they were hoping for in Norman right now.
I'm going to ask you this. This is a combined question for the Pac-12 and the Big 12. We kind of blow them off. You know what I mean? As far as the playoff and things like that. I was very impressed by TCU. That was a good win. I mean, going to Austin.
Absolutely.
Getting that win is a good one. We've seen Texas play really well at times. We have seen Baylor play well, and then they got destroyed this past week, which is nuts, by K-State. Now Kansas is playing good. In the Big 12, we saw a couple of big upsets. If this was the SEC, we just say, see how deep we are? We just beat each other up. You know what I mean? We're just so good. We're all good. We saw Oregon lose. We saw UCLA lose. We saw what's going on in the 12. Is this an indication that these conferences are bad at the top, or is this an indication that maybe these conferences are a little bit deeper than what we thought?
No, it's an indication that the conferences are deeper. And here's the thing: they're more competitively balanced, Tom, in the sense that these teams are all so similar to one another that it comes down to one play here or one play there, and that's really it. Especially if you get later onto the season. Depending on if you're banged up or you injured, when did your bye happen? For the Pac-12, and I had Utah on Saturday night. I still think they're the best team in the conference. And had they not lost the Florida game, they would probably be ranked in the top 6 right now overall. But they did lose the Florida game. But of all weekends, for the Pac-12 to do the most Pac-12 thing, they picked this last weekend. You're Oregon, you have an opportunity to win at home versus a ranked Washington. Your UCLA, you have a chance to win at home versus an unranked Arizona. It was a horrible combination for the Pac-12 conference. But again, very much like the Big 12, the teams are so dang similar that it shouldn't surprise anybody if somebody pops up and beats somebody, because there's not this huge talent differential. There's not this huge gap that would make you say, wow, how does something like that happen?
But does that make them and their champion an automatic playoff team? You know what I mean? Is it like that? Because the ACC is not very deep. I know you say it's coming along, it's getting better. Florida State's getting better. Wake Forest has been good. UNC looks decent. But nobody seems to want to respect a Clemson victory in the ACC championship this year. Maybe. I think now at 12-1 Clemson, we'll get to them in a minute, but are we disrespecting the champion that's going to win one of those conferences? If it's TCU and USC, if UCLA doesn't just dump USC and then we're done with the Pac-12.
Which they could, by the way.
Which they could. By the way, because of you last week, I had UCLA in the 9-hole or 8-hole, and I had USC out of the top 10 because of what you said.
And then they go blow it.
And then I look like an idiot. And I think USC is going to be 6 tonight. I think USC is going to jump LSU because of the way LSU looked against Arkansas.
That's insanity, Tom. I'm just telling you right now, that team without that quarterback is a 5-5 ball club.
Yeah, but they got that quarterback.
That's how bad they are on defense. I know. And you know what? North Carolina is the East Coast version of them.
Really?
They're literally like identical teams where their strengths are, where their deficiencies are. And you're right. What if there's a one-loss ACC champion? What if it's not Clemson? What if it's North Carolina? Like right now, what's the difference between North Carolina and SC? Brand.
Well, see, North Carolina would have the win over Clemson, so that makes them look a little bit. Plus, they played Notre Dame a lot of time. They both. I'm saying if they beat Clemson in the ACC championship, they got the win over Clemson, and then they also lost to Notre Dame, but they didn't look as bad losing to Notre Dame the way Notre Dame. It's amazing how Notre Dame's going to hold the key to so much of this. What if USC beats UCLA and loses to Notre Dame? You know what I mean? And if they beat Notre Dame, and it's a 12-1 USC versus a 12-1 Clemson, it comes down to Notre Dame, right? I mean, they're going to say you beat Notre Dame, you didn't beat Notre Dame. I got to take 12-1 USC over 12-1 Clemson.
Potentially, yes, and because you've also got to consider who the opponent would be in the Pac-12 championship game, right? It's either going to be a highly ranked Utah, a highly ranked Oregon, if we're assuming that SC wins out and they go. So, that's going to help SC as well, and that's why we've got to let all of this play out. We get caught up in where somebody's ranked right now. We get caught up in a brand and somebody being either underranked or overranked. I mean, look at North Carolina right now for a second. North Carolina is not a preseason ranked team. Because of Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams and the transfer portal and the offseason hype, all right, SC was afforded a gift in preseason ranking, all right, and then has gone out and played pretty good. North Carolina's had to earn it, but has essentially done the exact same thing, all right, almost on the same path with the same process, and are going to struggle to get anywhere near the top 10, but they're almost identical as far as their strengths and weaknesses. And so it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this thing plays out.
Well, I tried to make the point today, or make the case that I could put North Carolina 10. I mean, there were 15 in the coaches poll, but UCLA lost, Ole Miss lost.
Yeah.
Penn State is ahead of them right now. The AP has North Carolina at 11. I think is going to come down to North Carolina and Utah, a process of elimination, I guess. You got to have somebody at 10. What do you think? You've seen them both, North Carolina or Utah?
Yeah, I've seen them both. I actually have North Carolina, NC State next Friday for a Thanksgiving matchup. The difference between the two is in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Utah is really talented, and they are physical, and they are tough, and they are head and shoulders the better defensive football team than North Carolina is. The problem is, outside of SC, who Utah beat, but SC put up a lot of points on them, I don't know if Utah's played a team to this point at least that brings the problems that North Carolina does on offense. I mean, North Carolina on offense is a problem, and that would make for a great contest there. But I think overall, top to bottom, Utah is the better team. But I also think top to bottom overall, particularly for the UCLA-USC matchup, UCLA is probably the better top to bottom overall roster. But SC's got that offense that just outlasts everybody.
I think Alabama's going to be 8. And I think, because they were 9 last week, I think Alabama's going to be 8. And I think that Clemson is going to be 9. But Clemson has a path. Alabama does not, right? I mean, Clemson's going to jump Alabama eventually. But I find it fascinating. How much do you ever look at that FPI that you guys do at ESPN?
Not often.
You're not a believer in that?
Understand it.
Yeah, I've tried to figure out how it works. It's like, Alabama's got a 4.1% chance of winning the national championship, yet the FPI still shows them as the third best team in the country behind Georgia and Ohio State. And by the way, the Sagarin ratings, which are really, really outstanding and take into account a bunch of also has Alabama as the third best team in the country with those 2 losses. What does it mean? Why would they even be in that? Why would they be ahead of Michigan, for example, at 10-0? Does Alabama beat Michigan on a neutral field? Are they supposed to?
But I think they're supposed to. I think that whole entire calculation is based on roster profile. They are more talented and deeper than just about everybody in the country. The problem is they've played bad football.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the bottom line. So if you're sitting there and saying, should Alabama beat Michigan? Yeah, probably on talent. All right. Would they beat Michigan? Maybe not off performance. Not the way it's gone this year.
That's a good point. You know who you don't see anywhere in the Sagarin or the FPI is like Tulane. You know what I mean? They're
well, not now after they lost to UCF.
Yeah, right. Well, or UCF even. I mean, even UCF. None of those. You just don't see these group of 5 teams. I mean, the Florida Gators at 6-4 and Wisconsin Badgers at 5-5 are on the same line as UCF is as the highest G5 team. But these G5s, they kind of keep knocking each other around, and I don't know. One of them, if this was next year or 2 years from now, one of them they got to put in the playoff.
Well, when you consider what we saw with Tulane and UCF, why are Tulane and UCF seem to be kind of head and shoulders above everybody in the American? Look at the 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They got quarterbacks, and everybody else is so evenly matched in that conference. I mean, you look at ECU, East Carolina is they're scrappy. I mean, they should have knocked off NC State. They did beat UCF, all right? They came so close on Friday night to knocking off Cincinnati. So, like we talked about with competitive balance with the Pac-12 and the Big 12, it's kind of what the American has become. The margin of error is so slim between all of those teams.
We got a bunch of cupcake games in the SEC, and Alabama this week. They're I don't know if you heard Coach Saban in his press conference yesterday. Take a listen to this. Alabama, they're playing such a cupcake. He doesn't even know the name of the team. Listen
Austin Peay.
He don't even know. That's what he. Yeah, listen. Say it again.
Austin Peay.
Yeah, Austin Peay. Austin Peay, and then he spent like 5 minutes breaking down their quarterback and their running back and their wide receiver.
Guy's a dog.
What the hell are you talking about? You don't even know what he's playing.
A little Southern accent. When you go in a little Brian Kelly there.
Austin Peay.
Austin Peay.
Austin Peay. Oh, maybe he's dropping.
Guy's a dog.
It's just. I don't know. What's your take on? I mean, they told them they couldn't have buys the week before the rivalry game, so all these teams are playing.
Of course.
By the way, Western Kentucky is only a 5-point dog at Auburn this week.
Yeah.
But a lot of these, there's half of the teams in the SEC are playing cupcakes. We don't need that now. I mean, this late in the season, do we need cupcakes?
Well, why not let them have a bye? I mean, at the end of the day, but the problem is. Look at the money Austin Peay is making. Look at the money East Tennessee State's making. Look at the money UMass is making. Look at the money Western Kentucky, New Mexico State, UAB. The problem in all of this is we have a 12-game schedule, and a lot of people can fault the SEC for having this game slotted in this spot. Well, here's the issue. Until somebody gets punished for doing it as it relates to the college football playoff or inclusion in the college football playoff or the New Year's Six, what's the deterrent to change it?
Well, and some people think that because we're going to go to a 12-team playoff that they won't play these kind of games. But I don't know why. Why wouldn't they? I mean, what would stop them still from playing it? I don't think. I mean, yes.
Limit work there.
Yeah, Saban. Saban said, well, they're JV games. They're warm up.
Right.
I mean, play these games the first week of the season, second week of the season. But even Saban said the fans don't want to come to these games. The guys don't want to play in these games. But we have a system where it allows for these type of games. I think that the Power Five, a certain pool of the money that the Power Five is making off of these TV contracts and everything else, should go to these smaller schools anyway. Support them that way, but don't make us watch it.
Or do the exact same thing and move it to the spring and have it be a part of a spring jamboree type thing where you get to take on a different opponent. You're still paying that opponent, so you're meeting or exceeding or adding to their athletic budget that doesn't just support football, supports all their athletic programs, and make spring football a big deal.
Yeah, or why not one preseason game and call it a preseason game? Why not play one game? They do it in basketball. When UAH went and played Auburn in an exhibition game, basically in a game that didn't count. I mean, why can't they do this in August and you can kind of break up the monotony of the 6 or 7 weeks of camp, by looking at another guy. I don't know. It just seems like it would make some sort of sense in all of this stuff.
And keep in mind, too, and I talked to Brett Bielema about this when I had Illinois a couple weeks ago. When you play in that week 0 slot, you get an extra bye. And it ain't going to take long before every one of these coaches starts raising their hand and say, we want to play week 0.
Yeah.
I'm there. Let me play week 0. So you get a bye in week 4, and then you get a bye in week 8. You couldn't ask for a better scenario. They're all going to want to play on week 0.
if Thom Luganbill with us here, if Clemson finishes 11-1 or 12-1, all right, if they're a one-loss team, and let's just go with USC because they're the last hope of the Pac-12, and they're a one-loss team, and you got TCU, and they're a one-loss team. So now you've got all these conference champions. Of course, you're going to have the SEC champion in there and the Big Ten champion in there. So you're going to take one of those. All of those teams, they're all boat racing the 11-1s now. I mean, the 11-1 Michigan, Ohio State, or Tennessee, it's going to get left at the altar, right? I mean, you just get as good as Tennessee looked last week, coming off of the loss. They're in great risk now with TCU winning that game. They're in great risk of getting left out.
Potentially, I think you're right in that sense that they're at risk because, number one, they won't be playing in their conference championship game despite just having one loss. You would have a Michigan or an Ohio State who would have one loss but also wouldn't be playing in their conference championship game. The other team would be undefeated. So what this comes down to is, does the committee believe that, let's just say, a 12-1 USC as a Pac-12 champ is better than the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game, all right, or better than Tennessee,
yeah,
or better than whoever ends up being a potential one-loss ACC champ?
Right. Or the TCU. I mean, I still think TCU. You think one loss knocks the Big 12 out of this thing? Any one loss?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so you could have a 12-1 TCU. The problem is they'd be losing so late. Really, Tennessee losing with 3 or 4 weeks to go actually kind of helped them out a little bit because now we were able to see them bounce back. And we'll look at that last week, and we're like, are you kidding? That was one of the best defenses in the SEC by the numbers. How in the hell did they put 725 yards and 66 points on those people?
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it, man. I mean, I'll tell you how. They don't have Georgia's players.
I mean, that's a big – I still think it comes down to – and a great debate will be what does the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game look like? You know, the bar has been set by how UT looked against Georgia. I thought that Georgia was – I mean, the score looks different than the game. The game was so much more dominant. I thought, well, that's got to knock them out. I thought they had to stay within 5 or 6 points of them to be considered, but now here they are sitting in that 5-hole. So the bar has been set what it needs to look like. If Michigan gets the brakes blown off them by Ohio State, forget about it. But if they can hang in there, and if Ohio State kicks a field goal, wins that game, now Michigan at 11-1 is sexier than UT at 11-1.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah. And again, you mentioned the timing, and I think that does play a role. They want to talk all they want about each week's its own week and all this and that. That goes against every instinct of human nature. You don't forget what you saw. You don't forget when you saw it. You do have an appreciation for teams getting better and climbing and peaking at the right time. I think I keep always going back to the 2014 season with Ohio State and who they were at the end of November versus who they were in week 2, losing at home badly to an average Virginia Tech team. So, you know, each and every time you take the field, it's gonna resonate, whether it's 6 weeks ago, whether it's a week from now. But again, who the loss is to, that's where Oregon screwed this thing up so bad, is if Oregon could have been sitting there as a one-loss Pac-12 champ where they would have had to play everybody in their conference and their only loss would have been to the number 1 ranked team in the country, there's no way they're getting left out.
Tom, look how close UNC got to getting beat by Appy State. I mean, they were beating that game, right? And we're talking about UNC. They got a fighter's chance now if they beat Clemson. You know, maybe they're a tournament team. In second week of the season, they look like garbage. They give up 60-something points to Appy State. You know?
Yeah. Oh shoot, I know it.
And everybody kind of forgot about that.
Because they're doing the same thing they're doing with SC.
Yeah.
They're seeing flash, they're seeing stats, they're seeing quarterback play, and they're looking at records. Nobody's peeling back the layers.
Yeah. UCLA going to beat USC?
I think they're the better overall team. I think, to be honest with you, that's the 2 best play callers in college football on opposite sidelines of each other.
Wow.
When it comes for having a feel, no hesitation, knowing what's coming next, Lincoln Riley and Chip Kelly, in my opinion, are as good as it gets, and that's going to be a chess match. Somebody's going to have a wrinkle. Somebody's going to have something that's the difference. And I'll tell you, what hurts SC is they haven't been able to run the football overly effectively, and they lost Travis Dye last week for the season.
Yeah,
that's going to hurt them in the run game.
You probably got Bill O'Brien third behind those two guys. I know how you feel.
But. I know Alabama fans do.
All right, man. Well, enjoy the Bedlam. 2 good games next 2 weeks for you. You got 2 really nice games the next 2 weeks. UNC North Carolina on Thanksgiving Friday as well. So that's really, really good. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you as always. Great stuff, and I'm glad everything came out or went in or whatever it did yesterday. Okay. So,
it did both. I appreciate it.
All right, man. See you.
See you. Bye.
Let's get a break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives. Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of all things football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in the Kia. Go Bulldogs!
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
I just had to let the Junkyard Babe know that Cooper Kupp is out for the year. It's our number one player, the fantasy team, and she got beat. She got beat by John, Captain Cool Beater, in his game, this week. So she now drops to 7-2. Her and Grumpy have the best record in the Bama Zach League. I'm 6-3.
And I've seen this league. The other side is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. The other division is really bad.
Grumpy had like 165 points this week.
I'm so bad in ours and the one I'm in with ours with the radio league. I am the worst team. I think I'm 3-7 or something. 2-9 or whatever I am. 2-8.
We have breaking news. All right, Grizz. The Memphis Showboats are back in the USFL, and they'll play in Memphis. The Memphis Showboats are back, and the Memphis Showboats and the Houston Gamblers are going to play in Memphis.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now, that's awesome.
No, I don't mean I mean Houston's going to play their whole season in Memphis, their home games in Memphis.
Right.
Now, if you're wondering about what's going on in Birmingham, right now it's been announced that Birmingham and New Orleans will play in Birmingham.
Okay. Yeah.
So there'll be two. Remember last year everybody played. The whole season was played in Birmingham.
Now I just need the XFL to bring back the Birmingham Bolts.
No, you're not gonna have. Not gonna have the XFL and the USFL. But what happens now is that you've got. They're gonna have. They're trying. I think to have 5 venues for 10 teams. So we're getting closer and closer to having everybody go to where they belong. All right, coming up next, open lines at the top of the hour. Go ahead and get in, 256-576-4977, 97.7 ESPN is on.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
morning, I'm Doug Brown. For the 50th year in a row, no NFL team will match the unbeaten 1972 Dolphins. The Commanders beat the Eagles in Philadelphia 32-21. 4 turnovers, only 94 yards on the ground for the Eagles, who are now 8-1. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Rams wideout Cooper Kupp has a high ankle sprain from Sunday's game against the Cardinals. One source says it doesn't sound good. The Warriors send James Wiseman to their G League team in Santa Cruz. Wiseman should get more playing time there. He played only 8 minutes last night against the Spurs and not at all in the 3 previous games. Wiseman was the 2nd overall pick in the 2020 draft. Former Major Leaguer Yasiel Puig will plead guilty on a federal charge of lying to law enforcement about making sports bets with an illegal operator in 2019.
Hi, this is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Alabama and Auburn stepping out of conference this weekend ahead of the Iron Bowl. The Tigers a 5.5-point home favorite Saturday against Western Kentucky. Alabama at home against Austin Peay. College basketball tonight, 13th-ranked Auburn hosting Winthrop. The Tigers an 18.5-point favorite. 18th-ranked Alabama in Mobile taking on South Alabama. The Tide a 12.5-point favorite. World Cup soccer underway Sunday. Brazil the plus 400 favorite to win it all, followed by France at plus 600, Argentina plus 650, England plus 700, and Spain plus 800. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Showers get out of the Tennessee Valley by the time we get to the lunch hour and then through the heart of the afternoon. Still, temperatures only climbing into the upper 40s and lower 50s, well below where we should be this time of year. We should still be climbing into the mid and upper 60s. We drop into the mid 30s through the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From Coleman to Fayetteville and all points in between.
Son, pull the hammer back. Smokey's coming at you in a plain white wrapper.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. The segment of the show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center at TOC. They can take care of you, whatever ails you. It doesn't matter whether or not you have a neck injury or a shoulder or a leg or a knee, whatever. They've got a specialist that can handle what it is that is your issue. And let me tell you something else about that. A lot of times it's just some sort of rehab. You know what I mean? It's some kind of therapy that they're going to – it's not surgery all the time. We always talk about the surgeons at TOC, but it's not always about surgery. A lot of time it's strictly about getting that rehab, but they can take care of you. They got locations all over the Tennessee Valley. They've been taking care of this valley for over 20 years. They've been supporting this sports talk radio show for, I don't know, 16, 17 years at least. All right? So we're loyal to the TOC. I suggest that you do the same thing. Phone lines are open now. So you want to get in, you can get in. 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977 will get you into the show. I was sadly mistaken here, Chad, about the Memphis Showboats being, really? The 9th team, and there may be another team and 10 sites and all that kind of stuff. The Memphis Showboats are the Tampa Bay Bandits. Their Tampa Bay Bandits are going on hiatus. I was like, wait a minute, because it said Todd Haley was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bandits. I'm like, wait a minute, he was already in this league. He was the head coach of the of Memphis Showboats, and I'm like, he's already in the league with Tampa Bay. Well, I did a little research. Tampa Bay going on hiatus. So already the league doing that thing that the USFL did in the past and that the XFL always does. So then I wondered, are they doing it because the Tampa Bay Vipers remember I had my Vipers football sweatshirt on yesterday, but that was
that was the whole point of us having Zoom on too, but you didn't wear it today.
I didn't wear it.
You didn't wear it today
anyway. Yeah. But the Vipers, the Tampa Bay Vipers, I thought they were coming back. Maybe they're going to have a team in the X, so they decided, well, we'd rather be in the X instead of the USFL. It's not the case. There is not a team in Tampa Bay in the XFL either.
Is this the sign of like everything leaving Tampa Bay? Is everything just?
Well, they won't have spring
except
football.
for hockey.
They won't have spring football. The Lightning sell out every game. I'll tell you what.
Baseball
should leave.
They
don't have basketball. And, you know, what is left of the Tampa Bay Bucks when Tom Brady retires at the end of the season? Now, he's acting like he's not going to, but he is.
And they're just like a middle-of-the-road team other than what this,
they're a middle-of-the-road team now.
The two Super Bowl teams, like, that's it.
I'm saying they might be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be really
they were bad before Tom Brady and Bruce Arians even got there.
So I'm saying.
They were bad.
How do they not go back to being bad? And think about it. I mean, Blaine Gabbert is their quarterback right now, right? I guess they got Kyle Trask there.
Yeah. That was supposed to be the guy, the next guy.
Maybe he's the next guy. You know, 2 years, studying under Tom Brady.
What does that do?
Maybe that helps you somehow or some way. I don't know. Maybe
you got Brissett and Garoppolo. I mean,
Brissett and Garoppolo.
They were behind him for a few years.
Yeah. The Garoppolo one is really fascinating. Brissett is proven to be what he is. He's a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just a backup quarterback. Garoppolo is very interesting. I mean, right now, the 49ers are just in the playoffs.
Yeah, 10-2 record without throwing a touchdown pass in a game.
All he does is win, right?
I mean, yeah.
All he does is win.
It doesn't help.
You could make a case in the NFC. I mean, the NFC is so wide open. I mean, after Philadelphia lost last night, are we 1,000% behind Philadelphia? I mean, I would say that I would take Philadelphia over Minnesota if the game is in Philadelphia in an NFC championship game.
Oh, yeah.
But the chalk never follows the chalk, and we're just now into the second half of the season. So these other teams, I mean, Green Bay might still have a run in them. Green Bay is only one game a game and a half out of the playoff. All right, they're a game and a half right now out of the playoff. Washington is a half a game out of the playoff right now. San Francisco, if they can keep the running back healthy, McCaffrey, if they can keep him healthy, that defense all coming back, you can make a case for San Francisco making a run in the playoffs. But what are they going to do when Jimmy Garoppolo even wins one playoff game or two playoff games? What are they going to do? Are they so 1,000% sold on Trey Lance that you're going to let Jimmy Garoppolo do what Jimmy Garoppolo do? I mean, they're 5-4 right now. They go 10-7, something like that. All he does is win games. What if he win a playoff game or two? God forbid he takes him to the Super Bowl. What do you do with that guy? I mean, he's going to be a highly sought-after free. Apparently, part of the deal, that one-year deal that he did, was that he, was guaranteed free agency at the end of the year. But what do you do if you're San Francisco? What if you start winning 3-4 games in a row? Then what? I'm going to do my Mike Leach impression.
What if you, because everyone keeps thinking that, like, for some reason I keep hearing everyone talk about the Falcons possibly going for Jordan Love, but what if they could go for Jordan Love? Like, what if there could be, like, some kind of, once Aaron Rodgers is gone and they, like who knows, like Jimmy Garoppolo replaces Aaron Rodgers or something, or maybe, like, you know what I mean? If he wants to get away and go somewhere that might be able to contend.
He wants to get away. They just,
yeah.
No, I think he'd like to have he'd probably like to stay and be the quarterback, but they're so hell bent on Trey Lance. You know, you just wonder about what they're going to do with it. Phone lines are open, by the way. 256-576-4977. Philly getting tagged with their first loss last night of the season, so the 72 Dolphins are safe. We'll see where the Eagles go from here. The Washington Tide were better than the Philly Tide last night. Man, were there Alabama players all over the place or what?
Yeah.
Holy mackerels.
Star players, too. Star players.
Well, Landon Dickerson was really struggling with Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne were using Landon Dickerson like a rented mule a little bit. But Brian Robinson, he grinded out, 86 yards on the ground for Washington as well. The Eagles turned it over 4 times in the game, though. I mean, the Eagles had 3 turnovers on the season coming in. First half of the season, 8 games. First half of the season, they had 3 turnovers. Last night, they had 4. And it was only 1 interception, by Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts really looked great. I mean, he hit that one deep ball, the kid fumbles it. He hit the one on the face mask, kid fumbles it. Goddard fumbles it. But I never in a million years thought we would see this out of Jalen Hurts. I loved Jalen Hurts when he was at Alabama.
Yeah.
I loved the fact that he was the son of a coach and he had so much grit. And I loved him from the minute we saw him in the spring game as a freshman. I just said, man, this kid is just special. I don't think people even think of Jalen Hurts as an Oklahoma quarterback. I mean, they just think of him as he goes
Alabama guy.
He goes into press conferences and he wears the Alabama T-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really considers the part of Oklahoma. But what did Lincoln Riley do for him? And what did they do to help him as a passer? And now what has happened since he's been in the NFL? Because he still can do that thing he does running the ball. Jalen Hurts has become a hell of a passer of the football.
Which is crazy because he's had Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. It's just kind of weird that this one kind of sticks a little bit. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because Kyler Murray,
worker of all of them.
Yeah, because Kyler Murray's playing video games and not.
Yeah, they got to
caring.
put in his contract that he's got to study. Do you think that Jalen Hurts has to be encouraged to do?
No,
to do
I think he's very driven.
Of course,
very motivational.
I mean, there's no way that you got to worry about telling Jalen Hurts to take film home.
Well, they said it last night. Jason Kelsey, the leader of the team, the guy that is Mr. Philadelphia of the Philadelphia Eagles, literally gave him the reins of the team and said, "This is your team now."
Yeah.
So I mean, he's very much into him, and he's a motivational guy for sure.
Giants are only a game back now in the NFC East. They have 2 games left with Philly. Plus, they got the Cowboys. Philly will have the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. I mean, the NFC East is going to be a blast. I think this NFC East is going to be a blast.
Just the NFC is so bad that, like you said, there's so many other teams that could come out of could probably make a run and still make the playoffs.
We always say that, it's so bad, but is it really? I mean, you got Philadelphia and Minnesota at 8-1. It's just those aren't the teams that are supposed to be good. We feel like it's bad because it isn't Tom Brady, running roughshod, but they're the 4th seed right now, and they're going to go on and win the fight on the short bus, which is the NFC South. So they're going to go ahead and win that. Yeah, they're not going to fall any
better than the AFC South.
I don't know that.
No,
you got the Titans at 7-2.
That's the best.
You got the Titans at 7-2.
You got the Texans and the Colts who are over here tying each other.
The Colts are, but the Colts are 500. What are the Colts?
They're 4-5. 4-5 and 1.
4-5
Well, they got the tie, so they would be. They probably would be if they didn't tie the Texans.
You don't have any teams with a winning record in the NFC South. No, the AFC South is
it's more competitive.
It's competitive that way.
Within themselves.
But the AFC South with 6-3 Titans and a 4-5-1,
we can just agree that both Souths are bad.
I don't think the Titans are that bad. Where would you rank the Titans in the AFC right now? No worse than 4?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? I mean,
I would have them
5.
I'd have them behind the Dolphins. I'd have them behind the Chiefs.
Got to have them behind Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo still may be the best team in the league, but Buffalo supposed to be a big snowstorm in Buffalo this weekend. I mean, if you're a Browns fan, like somebody I know, like everybody I know in my family, Browns are at the Bills, and there's supposed to be a big snowstorm. You get a big snowstorm in Buffalo and that game becomes nothing but running and nobody can throw the ball, the Browns can't throw it anyway, and you negate Jason Allen, who knows? Nick Chubb could go nuts.
Can we just get to the point where we're like we can move games because of weather because we're just tired of 3 passing games?
No, we want that. We want a snow game. I want a good snow game every once in a while. Come on, man.
Or at least wind. The snow's fine, but if there's a wind game or like a downpour, I don't know if I want that.
Pop is up next. Pop, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am fantastic.
Listen, what I wanted to talk to you about is Tua.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me is that they always say that he's got these good receivers in, but if you look at every quarterback in the whole league that's good, they have a top receiver, do they not?
Of course. I mean, that's crazy. It's like, well, he's got, they gave him Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. First of all, they drafted Jalen Waddle, and they went out and got Tyreek Hill, but didn't Patrick Mahomes look better when he had Tyreek Hill too? I mean, they all, Mike Evans for Tom Brady. All of these teams that are decent have good. There's something else about the Tua thing. I'm going to tell you something right now, Pop. This is just me now. Because Tua is not very well liked. For whatever reason, people don't like Tua. They don't want to buy into Tua. I think that there's a little Tebow issue with Tua. I think that Tua's outward faith is a reason some scribes like to hammer away at him all the time. Never in trouble. He's not your, he's clean-cut guy, very faithful guy, and I think they like taking pot shots at a guy like that. That's what
both of them are left-handed. I don't know, but I'm with you on the
left-handed. Yeah, exactly. He's the white Tim Tebow. No, he's the black Tim. No, he's the Hawaiian Tim Tebow.
No,
he's the Hawaiian Tim Tebow.
See, that's another thing. I feel like they hold the Hawaiian against him also.
Yeah. I mean, who's the best Hawaiian quarterback I ever play in the NFL? I mean, he's on the verge of passing Marcus Mariota, isn't he?
Mariota.
I mean, there's
Marcus Mariota.
Well, it's a short list.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, now, I don't think he's on the verge. I think he's way ahead of Marcus.
Who was it? Remember the Tuiasosopo guy? Was he Hawaiian or was he?
I remember him.
Yeah, I forget what he was. I don't know if he was Hawaiian or if he might have been some other, like Guam or something like that. I don't know what he was. Samoan, whatever, but Polynesian.
It just bothers me, just like the Phillip calling and talking about Dak, those receivers didn't run their routes the right way. One of them should have carried, the tight end should have carried his guy out of the end zone. And then on the next one, 88 should have cut under and he cut behind.
Yeah.
And Rudy Ford intercepted it. That wasn't something Dak did. That was a predetermined throw long before that guy made his move.
Yeah, there's another though little problem with the Dak thing, and the problem is the fact that he and Cooper Rush have now played the exact same number of games this season, and Cooper Rush has a significantly higher passer rating than Dak Prescott does, which is crazy to say. And Jerry Jones just said on his radio show that the only chance of us winning a championship is based on Dak playing well. So he's like, that's it. But they played different. When they had Cooper Rush, they relied on the run game and the defense. And these teams sometimes, to me, it's just kind of like the Bryce Young factor. And I know Bryce Young's this amazing athlete. There's no doubt about it. But the Tide are so dependent on Bryce Young, they just want to throw it 40, 50 times a game. And it's great when it's great, but it doesn't win a championship. I'd rather have a Stetson Bennett with a great defense and a guy that manages the game and hits a big play every now and then and has a great running game. That was what Alabama was. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. They get this toy. All of a sudden, Dak Prescott's in there and they're throwing the ball all over the place and losing.
Yeah, I understand that. I was at the Alabama-Tennessee game and the Alabama-LSU game, and it hurts, but once he's gone, I don't know who's going to come in quarterback because we don't have the line to block. So I think we're in trouble.
Well, I think the line will be fine. I think the line can be fine. So I think they can be all right there. I just think you're going to see a different type of Alabama team once Bryce is gone. And, Nick Saban talked about the fact that Bryce Young, they've kind of built the offense around what he does, which is more of a pocket-type guy. They're really not an RPO team like they had been in the past. They're not a team that uses the mobile quarterback as much as they were in the past. And he's talking about how, in the future they're going to get back to some of that, and they're going to get back to running the ball more and all that type of stuff. So we'll see. But they also don't have that big running back that they normally have. Now all of a sudden it's somebody else's running back, and Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a 200-pounder that's 5'11". This is just not a prototypical Alabama team.
Well, listen, I'm 5'9", about 185, and I adore Bryce Young. I mean, seriously, as far as size goes, I understand why he doesn't run much.
Yeah, his thing is that he's slight. They list him at 6 foot, and I don't think he's 6 foot. I think he's 6 foot with his cleats on. He might be 5'11", but the thing is, and he has gotten a little bit bigger. But Jalen Hurts too, though. You think Jalen Hurts is 6 foot? He's not. I stood next to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is like 5'11" at if that. But Jalen Hurts is built like a tank, just like Russell Wilson is built like a tank. These guys are much more physical body. Bryce Young is a very slight body. Now, he does a great job not taking direct hits. But I still wonder about Bryce Young's future in the NFL.
If he's 5'10", I'd be surprised, because I've stood right beside him with his suit on, and I can look him in the eye.
Wow, you were sitting alongside Bryce Young in the aisle, huh? All right.
No, yeah, I try to get there for the Walk of Champions, and especially if you go to a away game, you're right there on top of them.
Right.
So that helps out, and I saw his parents too, so it's all been good.
All right, Pop. Good stuff.
I appreciate you letting me talk.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll grab a break. When we come back, Justin Ferguson joins us from the Auburn Observer. We'll get the latest on the developments on the Plains, talk a little hoop with him as well. It's the Thom Abraham Show. It's 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Do you know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in and trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from, and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed a 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan Spartman. Hope to see you soon.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Welcome back. Stan McDonald from the Stanton Law Firm. I had lunch with Lewis just recently and with a client of ours, a mutual client, and great to hear all the good things going on at the Stanton Law Firm.
Thank you, Wes. The Stanton Law Firm, as you know, we've discussed before, we're dirt lawyers. We do a lot of real estate, litigation and closing. And yes, my son Lewis McDonald enjoyed meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of your friends. He is, as you know, he's opened up a commercial closing division. So he's really helping a lot of people who are trying to close, buy, or sell on their commercial property. And he can't be in this community doing business without knowing Wes neighbors.
I don't know about that, but it sure was getting to meet another McDonald and talking a little bit about his grandfather, Coach Dye, and right. The different things. It was a lot of fun.
Well, your listeners are really going to enjoy meeting Lewis and you in this community. And like I said, at Jacob Title or the Stanton Law Firm, we close business. We do some good commercial closings, residential closings. We appreciate being part of your show.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. This Friday, you can get $50 worth of Bad Daddy goodness for just $25 with our zone deals. Log on 977ESPN.com to get your zone deal before they're gone.
The Huntsville Sports Commission, a not-for-profit organization, is driven by the love of sports. November brings some great sporting events to the Rocket City, including the AVCA Fall Collegiate Beach Championships November 4th through 6th, the Gulf South Conference Soccer Championship November 3rd through 6th, and the NCAA Division I Regional Cross Country Championships November 10th and 11th. For the love of sports, the Huntsville Sports Commission. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. Glad you are with us on this rather cold, rather dank Tuesday in the doghouse. We're calling it a Taco Tuesday today. Of course, don't forget that tonight it's Taco Tuesday down there. I think it's Pedro's birthday tonight down there at the Furniture Factory where Wes and Steve will be later on for the drive. So you're going to want to stop by and see those dudes later on tonight. In the meantime, joining us now from the Auburn Observer is Justin Ferguson. Of course, they've got the Auburn Observer podcast there as well, and the website covers everything Auburn, and he is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Ferg, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Boy, yesterday talking to John Samuel Shanker, what a difference just in the tone and the inflection coming off of a win. It had been 6 long weeks before those guys could talk about a win, and they seemed to carry forward what they were able to do in the second half against Mississippi State, and got it done with a win over A&M.
Yeah, no, they did a great job of taking care of business on Saturday night. It was a game where I thought was ugly from Auburn's offense outside of running the ball. They're not throwing the ball well. They're not finishing drives. These have been issues that they've had all season long. But I think under Cadillac Williams, these last 2 games, Auburn's done a really good job of playing to their strengths, which is running the ball and running it and running it and running it and taking advantage of that, and then playing to their defense. Auburn's defense had one of their best performances in a while. It was the best. It was the fewest yards they've given up in an SEC game since 2011. And I know A&M struggle and they're really bad on offense, but Auburn had 5 straight 3-and-outs to start the second half on defense. They did a really good job. I think Cadillac has got these guys, motivated, playing hard at the end of the year. They've had some favorable matchups here in these last couple of weeks, and I think he's just done a really good job of playing to this team's strengths, which is play really good defense, run the ball, manage the clock, and try to get out of there with a win. And that's exactly what they did Saturday night in front of an awesome crowd.
It's got to be the most animated coach I've ever seen on a sideline. I mean, running up and down the sideline, jumping around, hopping around, getting down in a crouch. Somebody ought to put a heart monitor on him or something. It'd be one of them Fitbits. That's what they had to do. They had to have him do see how many steps he takes, because I'd never seen a coach jump around the way he does.
Yeah, no, it shows you that he's a position coach being a head coach, right? He's still doing the same stuff that he did when he was the running backs coach at Auburn, and he's just carrying it over to an entire team. Really, really motivational, fired up, happy for his guys. Running down the field with him on that one Tank Bigsby run.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of energy, and it's exactly what Auburn needs right now. Is just somebody to get people interested and keep the players fighting and locked in. And, they came close to beating Mississippi State last week. They got that win against A&M. And it's just, it's like you said, it's night and day from what we were seeing for most of this season from Auburn.
Yeah, total buy-in from the players as well. He's not calling plays, obviously, but this is his influence, don't you think, on the team? Yeah. I mean, Shank says he doesn't spend a lot of time necessarily, with the chalk in his hand, in the team meetings and things like that. He's more of a motivator, leader that way. Mm-hmm. But somehow he got into somebody's ear and said, look, we suck at passing the ball. We're just going to run it until they can stop us.
Yeah, this was a question that was asked yesterday. Auburn ran the ball nearly 4 times as many times as they threw it on Saturday against Texas A&M. And he said, you know what, we're going to old school Auburn football. We want to have that kind of identity. We think that's playing to our strengths, and they're going to do that. You want to be able to throw the ball. You want to be able to get the wide receivers involved, obviously. They want to do better in that area. But in terms of volume, Cadillac had a really good quote yesterday. He said one of his favorite things about football is when the other team knows you're going to run it and they can do nothing about it. And that's kind of I think the mindset they're going to have here this week against Western Kentucky. I'm sure they'll try the same thing against Alabama in a couple of weeks, and we'll see how that goes. But this is Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter both ran over 100 yards in this game. It's the first time Auburn's had 2 backs go over 100 yards in an SEC game since 2009. I know Auburn had a hard time finishing drives and got in their own way a few times with penalties and turnovers. But, I mean, this is what they're good at. And I think instead of trying to stick to some, made-up version of balance or anything like that, they're committed to just playing to their strength, which is running the ball, managing the clock, and then turning those guys loose on defense.
Yeah, and it, more so even than saying they both had over 100 yards. They both had exactly 121 yards, from what I saw. And, of course, Hunter had less carries than did Tank, but, he's shown how explosive he is. So that's balance for Auburn. Auburn's balance isn't run pass. Auburn's balance is having 2 backs at 121 yards.
Yeah, and you didn't see Robbie Ashford be quite as effective with his legs as he was against Mississippi State. I think A&M did a good job keying in on that, which I think created some more opportunities for Bigsby and Hunter to kind of get loose in the running game. But, yeah, I mean, that's a 3-headed monster that they've got It's not the prettiest offense. It's not going to be the most explosive. It's not going to be the most efficient. It's not going to win you many awards. But at the end of the year, where everything's kind of been lost for you at this point, it can be really effective. And I think it's exactly the way they want to play.
Now, this Western Kentucky team that comes in, this isn't – I mean, it's a non-conference game, but it's not the cupcake game that people say, well, it's Western Kentucky cupcake game. Auburn's only a 5-point favorite in this game. I mean, this is a game that like an SEC game in terms of the expectation for Auburn. So if they're able to play clean, if they're able to win this game by double-digit points and so on, I mean, that would be a really good win, right? This isn't like you're playing, I don't know, Austin Peay or somebody like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Western Kentucky doesn't have a great defense, but they throw the ball all over the yard. It's not as much as they did last year when they had Mitchell Stearns and Bailey Zappi. Zappi now that with the Patriots.
Yeah.
But it's dang close. Like they throw the ball I think they're fourth most in the country. They don't turn the ball over a lot. They spread it around. This is a true like air raid. Very similar to what they saw a couple weeks ago against Mississippi State. And this team's got a lot of confidence in throwing the ball. They're not as big as Auburn up front. They're not as big as they've had their defensive struggles. They've also had some games where they weren't as efficient on offense in the Conference USA, but Auburn is expecting them to get quite a test on the offensive side of the ball against Western Kentucky. So, yeah, I mean, I fully expect this to be a very competitive game. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into the fourth quarter, still in doubt. It's kind of like A&M last week. Even though it was ugly on offense and A&M's had their troubles, like, you got to win by any means necessary at this point. If you're Auburn, to kind of keep that motivation level up. So I am expecting that on Saturday from Western Kentucky.
So they win this game. Let's say they win this game good. They win this game going away a little bit. And then they play tough at Tuscaloosa. Obviously that's going to be a monumental task, but they play well enough at Tuscaloosa. They look clean at least. Their effort is there the whole time. Is this guy in the conversation? I mean, does he get an interview? And if he doesn't get an interview, is he a guy that gets to stay, if he wants to stay with the new staff? I mean, can you keep him around after he was the head coach for, 4 games and goes 2-2?
Yeah, I mean that's the big question. I don't think Cadillac Williams is going to be a top candidate for Auburn. I don't. I mean, I think it's going to have to be a situation where, their top candidate or maybe their top couple of candidates decline him before he really seriously gets in the mix. Cadillac has done a really good job, I think, of just saying, like, yeah, I mean, I'm just focused on finishing out. I never thought I'd be in this spot. So I don't know if Auburn's necessarily taking him as somebody that, is a serious candidate to be in this job. We'll see how this kind of evolves over the next couple of weeks. But I would imagine Auburn wants to get this thing locked up pretty quickly after the Iron Bowl or around then. And Lane Kiffin's going to be their guy that they want to go after. It's just going to be a matter of how much it costs, and if Lane is interested enough to come to Auburn. But we'll see if I think Auburn's going to swing for the fences, which kind of keeps a guy like Cadillac not in that top tier. Be interesting though if this thing evolves and kind of goes in a different direction. Maybe he gets in the mix, but I mean I think this is a situation also where Cadillac Williams has done such a good job here these last couple of weeks. And I know a lot of people are looking on the outside and being like, Cadillac should be a head coach somewhere. And I think Cadillac is such an Auburn guy that he really, really enjoys being here, and he's at his maximum power as a coach at a place like here. So I wouldn't be surprised, no matter who the next head coach is at Auburn, that when they come in, I mean, they could get the biggest PR win in the world early on and say, hey, I'm here, and let me tell you, the first guy I've got on my staff is Cadillac Williams. So I would not be surprised if that's the direction Auburn goes moving forward.
Yeah, and you make him assistant head coach. You give him that title of assistant head coach, and you let him do a lot of the talking to the team from an inspirational standpoint. Even if it was Lane Kiffin, because you got Lane Kiffin, and Lane is an offensive genius. But if I'm Lane Kiffin, I say I'm not only keeping Cadillac, I'm letting him talk to the team. You don't necessarily let assistants do that much, talking to the team unless you got one that can really fire them up good. And one that has that ultimate tie, to Auburn. So, I'd be keeping the guy around. And it's interesting to note, everybody was jumping all over Hugh Freeze's jock, after they beat Arkansas. Not so much after getting dumped by UConn. You know what I mean? It was like, what happened to the Hugh Freeze train?
Yeah, no, I've again from the beginning I've had my doubts about Hugh Freeze's candidacy at Auburn, just because of I don't know if people at Auburn, like the people in charge at Auburn, want Hugh Freeze. I have no doubts that there are fans at Auburn that want Hugh Freeze, that there are people with money at Auburn that want Hugh Freeze, that Hugh Freeze would want to come to Auburn. I think all those things are true. I just do wonder about with the new power structure at Auburn, with the new president, with the new AD, if that's the direction they wanted to go. Yeah, and then it's just, you have one of those games where this past weekend where they lose to UConn, and it just takes the wind out of their sails a little bit. Hugh Freeze has done a great job at Liberty. He's still a guy that a lot of people like as a head coaching candidate in a lot of places. But I do think Auburn is going to swing a little bit more for the fences and try to get a bigger name, bigger splash with this move. That just kind of seems to be the direction that they're going, with Lane Kiffin kind of being the number one focus, at least from a lot of people around here. That seems to be the one. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if John Cohen and company try to go big game hunting here early, because you got a lot of money to play around with here. Remember, this is the first hire Auburn's making in the era of the ESPN contract money about to be rolling in for SEC teams. We saw LSU. LSU had rumors for a while, and they had to pay a lot to get rid of Ed Orgeron, and there were rumors that their athletic department wasn't in great financial situation. Then they go and get Notre Dame's head coach for $9.5 million in his first year.
Right.
I think that's the kind of ballpark Auburn's going to be playing with here.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Justin Ferguson with us here from the Auburn Observer, Thom Abraham Show here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. All right, so do they skip over Hugh if they don't get Lane Kiffin? If he says, no, you know what, I'm good, I'm going to stay here. Is this where the Jeff Grimeses of the world start getting mentioned and maybe some others, or are there some other big names that they go after? I mean, people have talked about, can you get Urban Meyer to come back out of retirement if you even want him? Can you get Bob Stoops to come out of retirement if you even want him? I mean, where would they go? Would you think they would skip right over, the Hugh Freeze situation?
I think Auburn would continue to try to go after some big-name guys. And when I say big names, I'm not saying that Hugh Freeze is not necessarily a guy that would have success in the SEC. He already has at Ole Miss. But I think maybe you have to look at places where guys are sitting head coaches of Power 5 programs, and you start poking around and seeing where the interest is there, and try to do like what you just did with John Cohen and say, hey, let's get somebody in here who has done this job at a high level here recently. And so that's where the Lane connection makes a ton of sense. That's where guys like Mark Stoops get into the mix. Dave Aranda, Dan Lanning, those are like names you could hear being thrown out left and right and say, okay, those are the kind of level I think you'd probably be looking at for Auburn if it's not somebody like Lane Kiffin. Now, if they could go really big game hunting, you wonder how many coaches of really, really successful schools right now would be interested in Auburn. But like I said, I just keep having the LSU got Brian Kelly in my head where I'm like, okay, Auburn may not swing that high, but that's kind of going to be around that kind of neighborhood. So yeah, I mean, look, there are people who really like Hugh Freeze, and I think there's there's a lot of reasons why people would connect those dots. I just do think that Auburn may go after some guys that have bigger jobs right now, and may have less coming into it than a Hugh Freeze hire would.
The Mark Stoops one is interesting because he's at his ceiling. You cannot do anything more at Kentucky. You cannot.
And you lost to Vanderbilt. Like the shine's come off of him really quickly here. I still think he's a great coach. But I do agree with you. I think you've hit your ceiling at Kentucky. That's kind of the same pitch you're making to a guy like Lane Kiffin right now, where it's like, okay, is this probably the best you're ever going to be at Ole Miss? And can you come to a place like Auburn and, compete for a championship? I think that's very similar. I think the difference is Lane's probably going to win 10 games this year, whereas Kentucky's going to end up having a disappointing finish to what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year.
Dan Lanning is an interesting name. He's got a really good quarterback out there. I don't know if he could bring them with him. Maybe that would be interesting.
It's former He's got one more year left.
Yeah, he does. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, I don't even know if that's legal. I mean, can you do that? Could he transfer back? I mean, could he come back with Dan Lanning and play like that, back at his beloved Auburn? I mean, that would be crazy. And then you wonder about the existing roster. You wonder about a Robbie Ashford, and you wonder about that quarterback room. And, all of that will be based on whatever kind of coach they get. And if it's an offensive coach, defensive coach, who then the offensive coordinator is, if it's a defensive guy. You just wonder how many of these guys have a future at Auburn, depending on who this guy is.
Yeah, no, I think this roster is going to turn over a lot here, depending on who the next head coach is. I mean, you look at the number of guys that made impact plays for Auburn, especially on defense in that Texas A&M game. A lot of those guys are probably going to be in the NFL very soon, or at least going through the draft process. So that's going to change a lot. Your quarterback room, I think Robbie Ashford's got tools, man. I like his athleticism. I think he's got a great, powerful arm. It's just not very consistent. He's still learning how to play a quarterback at this level, and he had a lot of time kind of away from live action. That you may look at it as a situation look at what Josh Heupel's done with Hendon Hooker. People didn't really think Hendon Hooker was that great of a quarterback for Virginia Tech. He gets in the right situation, boom, takes off. Maybe it just takes the right coach to unlock somebody like that for Robbie Ashford. You've also got a guy in Holden Garner who was a very talented player coming out of high school that may get a fresh look under some new lights. And I also think say it's Lane Kiffin, say it's somebody else like Lane Kiffin, the transfer portal is going to be full of quarterback options. It's a carousel every year, and I would imagine Auburn would get in the mix for that as well, because they have over the last couple of seasons, even when they didn't really need a big name guy like a couple of years ago with when they still had Bo. So I do think you're right. It's going to come down to who comes to Auburn. But I think it doesn't matter. This is going to be the same thing even if Brian Harsin was still here at Auburn. This is a team that's going to have to hit the transfer portal as hard as pretty much anybody in the country, kind of like LSU did this past offseason.
My problem with Ashford is his attitude. I think he's a head hanger. Guys like that, I don't know that you can win with. He gets so bent out of shape, everything that happens out there, and it's usually negative. And, guys have to pick him up a little bit, and that's not what I want out of my quarterback, but that's a whole nother issue. We do know who's coming to Auburn. It's Winthrop coming to Auburn tonight. And Auburn need a good, solid, clean game, right? I mean, they need a game that they shoot 40% from the three-point line and and that they're dominant inside and do something like that. They need that kind of a game, it seems like. They've gotten by with a couple of wins here early on, but they need to, kind of put this one in the bag and play clean.
Yeah, and if they don't turn the ball over and really take advantage of the fact that they are bigger and better on the boards than Winthrop is, they could have a good, comfortable win tonight. Winthrop's good, though. This is a good Big South team. This team is going to fight to be in the NCAA tournament this year. They take a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes. They're experienced. They're well coached. And I think Bruce Pearl does not have enough. Between what happened in the first week of the season with Auburn, where they played so poorly on offense and was down in most of the game to USF. I don't think he's going to be lacking in motivation for this game, because not only do you have this matchup against a good team, but you got to look around at how many big-name teams in college basketball have already gotten picked off early.
Oh, yeah.
Florida lost to FAU last night. Tennessee lost to Colorado, which lost to Grambling. TCU lost last night to Northwestern State. There's a lot of games like that where teams have gotten picked off early by, these mid-tier, mid-major kind of programs. And so, Auburn's going to have to be highly motivated, because this has been kind of a giant killing start in college basketball, and Winthrop's got the shooters. They've got three guys right now that are shooting a combined over 50% from deep. They could make it rain tonight in Auburn Arena. So they need to do a good job of closing them out, and then just taking advantage of the fact that they are a bigger and stronger team because they are an SEC program.
Justin Ferguson has been our guest. Ferg, I appreciate you so much. It's the Auburn Observer podcast as well, and everything you need to know about Auburn is right there. Ferg, we'll talk next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Justin Ferguson. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back and wrap it up next right here. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Men, are you asking yourself questions like, why am I gaining fat? Why is my energy or sex drive down? And maybe you haven't been getting the exercise you need. If you want to get back to the man you used to be, but just don't have that youthful energy, that edge you once had, you very well might have low testosterone. Low T causes all kinds of issues, from a reduced libido, lower drive, and bad sleep patterns, to problems with muscle gain and bone density, and more. It may even contribute to erectile dysfunction. And if this sounds like you, it's probably time to get treated for your low T. At the Huntsville Men's Clinic, we've treated many men for low T. We've seen them put on muscle, add to their energy, improve their sex lives, get better sleep, and just feel better. Plus, if you're like most men, you'll see results in only a few weeks. So make an appointment today and experience how low testosterone therapy can truly change your life. Your initial appointment is only $99 with results in minutes. Call today, 256-368-0333. That's 256-368-0333. Or go to HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com. That's HuntsvilleMen'sClinic.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
hello,
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Showers get out of the Tennessee Valley by the time we get to the lunch hour and then through the heart of the afternoon. Still, temperatures only climbing into the upper 40s and lower 50s, well below where we should be this time of year. We should still be climbing into the mid and upper 60s. We drop into the mid 30s through the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
November in Alabama means one thing.
Alabama and this SEC football arch rival meet in the Iron Bowl.
The Iron Bowl.
What is Arkansas?
Nope. Listen for full coverage of the Iron Bowl right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Correct response, what is Auburn?
Another 6 inches, Grizz. No, we all just want another 6 inches. About another 6 inches.
I'm trying to reach for
the camera. Yeah, right.
Let me move it for you.
Forgot about that part. About another. Yeah, that's right. You're getting just that belly. About another 6 inches. I used to enjoy. I used to do my whole, not my whole show, but I would do half the show standing up. In Nashville, we had our desk was about 6 inches higher than this. And we had the high chairs like these, so you could sit and it would be fine. But it was, you'd sit. And of course, I was doing 4 hours then. But you would sit and your legs would freeze up. And it was nice to do the show standing.
Yeah.
And I would start doing the show standing. And then what I did.
Can't sit forever.
No, you can't. And then what I did, I took it a step further because I like to walk. Like when I talk on the phone, I'm a walker. Like somebody will call me, I'll get on my phone, it'll be like Moulton. You know what I mean? And he'll want to talk to me about, I don't know, something. And so what I'll do is I end up getting out from behind my desk, I pick up my phone, and I walk around. I just walk all over my office, I'm walking around all the time. Then when I'm off the phone, I sit down. So what I did was I had a real long cord. I had a headset on, just like the one that Moulton's wearing now.
Yeah.
And I had my headset on, and I had a cord that was like a 20-foot cord that was an extension for it. And I plugged it in, and I put the headset on, and I did my show, walking all over the place. And, I did that for 2 days. And then Leslie
got tired.
Leslie Pardue, who was the program director there, right? And he was the national program director for Talk, and he was based out of Nashville. He comes in there, and he says, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing my show." I said, "I talk better when I'm walking around."
Yeah.
He says, "That's a $900 microphone that's in front of you, and you're wearing a $200 headset." So take that headset off and talk into the $900 microphone that we bought. Yeah. So that was the end of that.
Well, we got all these cameras now, so we can move back and forth. I mean, you should be just fine. You can't move with that microphone. That's a good microphone.
I'd have to have a... No, I can't. I can't move, but at least I could stand and get the blood flowing. All right, that's going to do it for this Sport Talk Radio show today. Coming up next is the Paul Feinbaum Show. Then we'll have the drive down at the Furniture Factory. And then don't forget, Alabama basketball tonight against USA right here on your home for everything, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.